Right now at 6, the mother of a daughter murdered in 1999 finds her quest for justice blocked.
We're also continuing to track a few storms. Joplin clear, but we are watching one storm moving towards Joplin in the next 15 minutes.
Plus, the parts of the 4 states area are getting too much rain and experiencing flooding, as there is, of course, more rain on the way.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it is an alert day here in the 4-state area, so why don't we take it away?
Well, we do have a few concerns. We've got a tornado warning issued near Tulsa. It's looking to be moving to our area, so let's take a look outside. Right now in Joplin, it's clear. We are tracking a few storms moving through the area, but other than that, Joplin's clear. We are going to see more storms continue on, and these threats for the morning storms are slightly more limited than what we're going to see later on this evening. However, it doesn't mean we can't expect some severe threats. Now, we've got a significant threat for hail, 1 inch to golf ball size hail, and then maybe even larger as we move into the afternoon storms. And then an elevated wind threat. We see winds in some of these stronger cells about 60 miles per hour gusts. Not to mention, we have an elevated risk for tornadoes. We're keeping an eye on one. We do have a tornado warning issued for an area out in Tulsa. Actually, there are 2 tornado warnings, and they are also under a tornado watch. We've got a few flood risks, although we are not under any kind of tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch. We're going to continue to watch that and keep an eye on and see if we get any more watches or warnings in our area. Now, we've got a stronger storm moving through, although it's starting to slow down. We're continuing it into Pittsburgh and even in the Joplin region. So in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to see a lot of heavy rainfall, some lightning strikes, thunder, and maybe even some small hail as well with this storm. But the main concern I'm seeing right now is out in Tulsa, just south of Tulsa. We've got 2 tornado warnings, and these are 2 cells that are producing some rotation that's radar indicated. So they're under a tornado warning until about 6:15, 6:30 this morning. Now, what we're seeing is it's tracking through some of our southeastern counties and possibly getting up to Joplin. We're going to keep an eye on it, see if it starts to diminish or weaken as it moves closer to our area. But if not, we're going to keep an eye on it, continue to alert you. We've got a few more storms moving in along that line. Now, the southern part of those storms going to be missing us, going through Arkansas, but those northern storms, we are expecting some of them to be moving through our area, and we all have another round of storms later on this afternoon. And those storms, if they do develop along the dry line, will produce some more severe threats. So we're going to keep an eye on this tornado warning and those storms that are rotating, and we'll continue to update you immediately as they start to move into our area.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, we've seen a flooding in a number of low-lying areas in the 4 states. Those include parts of Jasper and Lawrence counties in southwest Missouri, along with Cherokee and Crawford counties in Kansas. There's a lot of water over Kafer Road west of Missouri 43. Drivers there and elsewhere need to be cautious and might have to find alternate routes. The scene is similar in parts of southeast Kansas. This is a video of northeast Star Valley Road in Cherokee County, Kansas, where the roadways has turned into a waterway. Crawford County, Kansas is also dealing with some flooding. With all the rain, it's important to remember the old saying while driving, turn around, don't drown. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Sky Watch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Sky Watch weather app. The mother of a 1999 Welch, Oklahoma murder victim is advocating for justice, but it seems, at least for now, her push for reform is stalled. In 1999, Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman went missing, and Danny and Kathy Freeman were found dead. It wasn't until 2018 that a suspect, Ronnie Busick, was arrested. Busick pleaded guilty to accessory to murder in the case and was sentenced to 10 years in prison with 5 years of probation. However, after 2.5 years, Busick was released. Laura and Ashley's law would add to the list of crimes mandating offenders to serve a longer portion of their sentence. It was passed by the Oklahoma House and the Senate Judiciary Committee, but is now stalled. Yesterday was the last day for the bill to be heard on the Senate floor. Laura's mother, Laureen Bible, says she will now have to try to have it filed again next year. Well, a fifth suspect has been arrested in the killings of two Kansas women found buried in rural Oklahoma earlier this month. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation said 31-year-old Paul Grice was arrested and taken to jail. He faces 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and a count of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Authorities say Grice admitted to taking part in the planning and killing of 27-year-old Veronica Butler and 39-year-old Jillian Kelly. They say he also admitted to taking part in the burial in a cow pasture. 4 other suspects, including a married couple, have also each been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and other charges. Students in McDonald County yesterday helped to fight hunger in their community. The organization Meals of Hope partnered with McDonald County FFA to pack meals of rice and beans for local residents in need. They packed an impressive 25,000 meals, working together in an assembly line to make sure no one goes hungry.
I hope to gain that, I don't know, like next year I hope we have way more involvement. That way a lot of people do it. It actually helps people in need. I'm just glad that is there for it.
This is the second year the students have packed meals. Now to look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Columbia University's Faculty Senate is fearing a vote to censure the school's president. Plus, President Trump is due back in court for his Manhattan criminal trial after yesterday's historic Supreme Court arguments. And meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
In Joplin at 3030 North Rangeline Road and online at KubotaofJoplin.com.
Topping Nation Watch this morning. Mother's Day is nearly 2 weeks away, and the big question is, how much are you planning to spend this year? According to the National Retail Federation, consumers are expected to spend a near record $33.5 billion this Mother's Day. That number is the second highest since the organization began annual consumer surveys. This year's expected spending falls just short after last year's record of $35.7 billion. The largest spending amount will go towards jewelry, special outings, electronics, and flowers. The average sum a person is expected to spend will be a little over $250. The biggest spenders are expected to be between 35 and 44 years old. Columbia University's Faculty Senate is fearing a vote to censure the school's president, so they are redrafting a resolution to admonish her. The decision to vote on a resolution to admonish President Munishi Shafik avoids a censured vote during a critical time for the school. Protesters have set up an encampment on campus and are urging the university to cut off its economic and academic ties to Israel. Some students, faculty, and left-leaning lawmakers are upset that Shafik authorized the New York Police Department to shut down the student protest on campus. More than 100 people were arrested. They say the crackdown on student protests violates academic freedom. This morning, President Trump is due back in court for his Manhattan criminal trial. It follows yesterday's historic Supreme Court arguments, with the 9 justices now poised to decide if Trump has absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts while in office. Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
Outside a Manhattan courthouse, former President Donald Trump again repeated his claim that all presidents should be free from criminal prosecution for official acts taken while in office.
A president has to have immunity. You don't have a president, or at most you can say it would be a ceremonial president.
200 miles away in D.C., justices on the U.S. Supreme Court seem poised to reject Trump's claims of absolute immunity.
If there's no threat of criminal prosecution, what prevents the president from just doing whatever he wants?
Trump is the first former U.S. U.S. president to face criminal charges. Yesterday's historic high court arguments stem from special counsel Jack Smith's case, charging Trump with plotting to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election.
Whatever we decide is going to apply to all future presidents.
The justices suggested that presidents should have some level of protection from criminal prosecution for official acts, though with that came more questions.
How exactly would we determine what an official act is?
The Supreme Court is expected to issue its ruling by early summer. If the court decides to send the issue back to lower courts, which have previously rejected Trump's immunity claims, the election interference trial could be delayed until after this November's election. Jared Hill, CBS News.
In a media interview last night, former President Trump described the Supreme Court arguments yesterday as, quote, very, very good session. One other legal development to note: yesterday, a New York federal judge rejected Trump's request for a new trial in the E. Jean Carroll defamation suit. Earlier this year, a jury found Trump liable for defamation against the writer and awarded her over $83 million. A lawyer for Trump says they intend to appeal the decision. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Lindsay with a look at your forecast.
We've got some storms continuing to moving through the Joplin and Pittsburgh region in the next 10 minutes. Keep an eye on that. We've got some more storms coming in right after that will continue to track and alert as it moves through our area.
Honda 18.
Well, you've likely heard the sound of a woodpecker drilling its beak into a tree in search of a delicious meal. But what happens when one takes interest in your doorbell instead? A woodpecker was caught on camera using its beak to ring a doorbell repeatedly. Maybe the bird had thought it was a meal inside. As Jeannie Moose reports, it's not clear if anyone ever answered.
We don't mean to knock the do-it-yourself woodpecker door knocker, or even Woody Woodpecker himself using a finger to ring the bell.
Hi, neighbor.
But both pale next to the real thing making the doorbell ding. As far as we can tell, no one ever answered the door. The last woodpecker story I did featured a woman in North Carolina ringing a doorbell to get help, removing a woodpecker tangled in her hair. This isn't the first time a woodpecker has been spotted ringing a doorbell. This one in Tennessee caused such a crack, the owner posted on Facebook looking for suggestions for a woodpecker-proof doorbell. We've seen bears seem to do it, pawing at the doorbell, then getting no response, so giving up in a huff.
Did it go ding-dong, or did he miss it? It did not go ding-dong.
This New Jersey bear made a habit.
Close the door, you little stinker.
Of walking right into one resident's house without ringing the bell, but at least he closed the door.
All the way, hon. All the way.
And a woodpecker that rings a doorbell is no dumbbell. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
Well, here's Lindsay with a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we are tracking a few storms, one heading towards Joplin and Pittsburgh right now, not as strong, but we are expecting lightning and thunder and some small hail as well. In addition to that, we've got some faster wind gusts. Now we are tracking another system moving through Tulsa right now. There is a tornado warning on that system. It's radar indicated, but they are expecting it to become tornadic, and it's moving closer to our area, so I will continue to update and alert, and I'll have more details just right after the break.
TFI. People to live healthier lives.
Right now out in Joplin, we are tracking some storms moving through. Hasn't quite hit Joplin yet, but this is 7th and Range Line. We are seeing some storms start to make their way in. Not to mention, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning just clipping our southern counties. We're going to keep an eye on that as that storm continues to progress into our area. We also have a few flood warnings, and those are going to increase as we see a lot of rounds of rain throughout the entire weekend, all the way through Sunday evening and even early Monday morning. Now, a few storms we've got one moving through. That's our tornado warning and severe thunderstorm warning as well. We're watching that. There is some radar indicated circulation. They are expecting it to become tornadic before it hits Tulsa. It's closer to our area, so we're going to keep an eye on that as well. And then this storm system, this is the one that's moving through Joplin right now. It's about to be in that area in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And then again in Pittsburgh, we've got that same storm moving through as well. Again, next 10 to 15 minutes, we'll get the most heaviest rainfall in those areas. We are seeing a few indications that we could see light hail, not to mention a lot of lightning strikes in some of these storms, faster winds and heavy rainfall as these storms pass over. So keep an eye on those storms. If you're in those areas, you might want to be prepared. But this is the storm I'm most concerned about moving into our area. There is a tornado warning on it, that radar indicated rotation, and that it's a blanket severe thunderstorm warning as that continues to progress. Even if it dies down, there's no more circulation, we are still expecting some pretty severe threats with that system. And in addition to that, we've got some more storms south of it. Now, most of the southern part of this storm is going to be moving through Arkansas. We won't see any of it, but we are going to see some severe threats with that northern part of the storm. What you can expect today, we've got hail, significant amount of hail, and we're in a hatch zone today and later on this afternoon when another round of storms moves in. We could expect inch size to golf ball size hail this morning and even larger hail this afternoon. We also have a fast wind elevated risk, winds getting up to nearly 60 miles per hour in some of these stronger storms. And finally, an elevated risk for tornadoes across most of the region. However, there is an enhanced risk. Few counties up north, and they're in a hatch zone as well. Now, main threat for tornadoes still going to be later on early this afternoon as storms develop along a dry line, but we can expect still a tornado or two in this area, especially with that system that's moving through Tulsa right now. This is what we're seeing as the track continues. It's about 6:30, so in the next few minutes we'll see it pushing through, and here's Joplin and the surrounding counties getting a few inches of rain with this system. This is 9 a.m. starting to die down a little bit before another round comes in of stronger storms. Bonita's getting hit. This is about 11 a.m. so later in the morning hours, and then again continues to move straight through Joplin. So Joplin's getting a few hours of heavy rainfall pretty consistently through the early afternoon hours before it starts to shift off. Now we've got, this is that dry line. We've got another round of storms developing along it. That's what we're expecting. This is early afternoon to later afternoon hours, about 4:30. If storms do develop along the dry line, they will be pretty severe. We are expecting some tornadoes and large hail development along these storms. It's not going to be as widespread as what we saw this morning. There will be more isolated thunderstorms, which can produce that tornado or hail threat as well. And it'll continue through the Joplin region around 6 to 7 o'clock. So today we're under an alert day, tomorrow and Sunday an alert day. So we're going to keep an eye on all these storms. This morning, main threat right now, we're looking at that storm in Tulsa as it continues to progress. If it becomes tornadic, it's not too far off from some of our southern counties, so we'll continue to update you. We may go live if we need to. And then Saturday, another severe warning or an alert day for severe storms later on in the overnight hours and into the early hours. So that is a main concern since it's after nightfall. It's harder to see some of those storms. Be careful for Saturday night and then again late Sunday afternoon. Now, Elise with Health Watch is next.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, a study of bivalent COVID vaccines found they are effective at controlling the spread of the virus. A study in Brazil found that the bivalent vaccine, which targets multiple strains of COVID, boosted the immune response and was more effective than monovalent vaccines, which only target one strain. AI is already being used in almost every aspect of healthcare, but some medical professionals aren't on board. A study by Florida Atlantic found more than half of nurses and reservations about AI use in healthcare. Some of their concerns include AI's lack of empathy, its potential to take jobs, and data security. It looks like we're getting some weather over our area right now as we just went out. And loneliness can affect a cancer patient's chances of survival. A report by the American Cancer Society found cancer patients who felt lonely had higher rates of death compared with the patients who didn't. The results show that having social and emotional support can make a big difference in your health. Well, more young people are taking to physical activities to improve their health, with many turning to running. And the uptick might be related to a quarter-life crisis more than it's to health. Kendall Green has more.
Along the East River in Manhattan, accompanied by the bloom of spring, hundreds run, escaping life's everyday rush. And Justin's one of them.
It's more mental health activity than a physical health activity for me.
As an experienced runner, he's crossed quite a few marathon finish lines. 26 plus miles he's proud to have in his rear view. As more young people find themselves rushing towards the runner's high, like Nicole, who we literally ran into.
What does running do for you?
Running makes me feel alive, using a lot of energy to get through my day. And yeah, it makes me happy.
How, do you run marathons?
A fifth of runners who finished the New York City Marathon were in their 20s, compared to 15% in 2019. Journalist Maggie Morton shares perhaps there's more behind the mileage.
Whether that's harder, taking longer to find a career path that is meaningful to them, or taking longer to find a partner, things like that, or moving to a new city, and not having friends.
She found younger runners were seeking purpose, identities outside of the social norms like the house, spouse, and little ones. And some, in fact, were running through what she calls a quarter-life crisis.
Being able to find that within running is something that I think most people would say is pretty healthy.
Younger people in their 20s are running more, running marathons as a way to cope with life. Why do you think that is?
Helps. It is a real great stress relief. I'm not gonna lie. I shut off my brain. I just run, listen to music. You get a little, breathy, and it feels real good.
Yeah. But not everyone's just running from their problems. Many are running into who they want to become and find themselves inching a little closer to a marathon each time.
When I started running like 5Ks and 10Ks, then just the people, all the energy, they make you want to keep going. And I thought it was a good challenge, so.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
In the heart of Grove, Oklahoma, a new era of health of Joplin.
Right now at 6:30, we'll meet a Joplin High School student who's joining a prestigious summer program through MIT.
We also are tracking a very strong storm moving through Joplin and Pittsburgh, dropping some hail and lightning risk as well.
Plus, Ladies' Night in Miami, Oklahoma raises spirits and funds for a good cause.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
We have storms rolling right over above us right now.
Yes,
we've been hearing the thunder for the past 5-10 minutes now.
And we've got some hail going on out there. Let's take a look outside. We've got that same storm a little south moving through Joplin as well. They're getting some lightning, thunder, rain, and possibly some small hail as well. We're only seeing about half an inch to an inch size hail out here, less than an inch size hail, excuse me. Wind gusts up to about 25-30 miles per hour. We are seeing some faster winds as well. We've got some stronger storms possible today. Hail is a significant risk, and we're in a hatch zone, so many of these storms are going to be producing hail, about half an inch to golf ball size hail. We have an elevated wind risk as well, and not to mention we have an elevated tornado risk, and even in a few of our northern counties, that enhanced risk in a hatch zone as well. So we are expecting some severe weather today. Later on this morning, we're going to have more rounds of severe thunderstorms, and again early this afternoon. Now, this is our warnings. We've got a few flood warnings in our area, but just south of us, they're under a severe thunderstorm warning, and they're tracking a tornado as well. Radar indicated rotation, so they're not seeing it touch the ground yet, but we could be continuing to watch that. They've got a blanket thunderstorm warning issued down there and creeping into our counties as well as it starts to move in near Bartlettsville as well. Now, we've got this storm out in Pittsburgh and that storm out in Joplin. Now, we are here in Pittsburgh, and we saw some hail, power nearly went out, and a lot of lightning strikes as well. It's a very loud, scary storm, but as of right now, no kind of tornado or large hail risk, but be cautious for any of these storm developments. We've got another little storm pushing in past after that, this current storm that we're in. Now, we're watching the Tulsa storm as it's starting to bow out. That is a significant sign of severe thunderstorms. We'll keep an eye on it. They've got a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. Right now, their tornado warning has expired. So clearly they haven't seen any tornado hit the ground, and it looks like their radar indicated rotation is starting to diminish. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's going to continue to move into our area, and that Boeing segment does signify some severe weather threats. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move in through the day, and they've got more storms pushing in. Southern part will be moving through Arkansas, but those northern storms will be moving through our area, and we'll continue to alert immediately if anything happens or as these storms start to intensify nearing our area.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, Joplin High School junior will spend the summer participating in an MIT program. Christian Kavanagh will engage on a prestigious opportunity available to only about 80 students globally. It offers a 6-week residential experience aimed at introducing rising seniors to technology, engineering, and science in Boston.
Really taking this opportunity and getting accepted helps me know that my future in STEM is looking bright.
Knowing that he actually gets to go spend time there and work with people that are in his expertise, it is very, very rewarding.
Nearly 4,100 students applied this year, and academic records is one of the factors considered for acceptance. Kavanagh hopes the program will help him reaching his goals, going to MIT for college and being a physics researcher. The Joplin Police Department wants to let people know about bicycle safety. The fair is designed to bring safety awareness to families about cycling and being on the roadway, as well as learning mechanical safety and routine bicycle maintenance. The fair will also feature numerous vendors, emergency vehicles, food trucks, and an obstacle course. The event takes place May the 4th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the parking lot of East Middle School at 4594 East 20th Street. The Skill Resource Center yesterday hosted a customer and community appreciation picnic. The center supports independent living for people with disabilities, and the event provided a way to celebrate their clients and the community that supports them.
Do it every year, so my staff are just amazing, and they just kind of have it down to a fine art. They go out and they work with the community, and they find partners like, Palookas has donated the food, and they have the community health center here to be able to hand out information and to speak about the services that they have.
The Skill Resource Center is created by, driven by, and focused on persons with disabilities, their families, and communities. Well, it was a ladies' night at the Ace Hardware store in Miami, Oklahoma. The event gave women a chance to enjoy some food and drinks while shopping through a garden sale. It wasn't just for the store, though. All of the money raised from the event is going to Children's Miracle Network, which helps cover medical costs for families with kids in the hospital.
ACE has been a national partner with Children's Miracle Network since 1991. In that time frame, they have raised almost $200 million. Last year alone in 2023, ACE Hardware, as a national partner, raised almost $23 million.
Well, there were also raffles and swag bags for attendees. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. If it's Friday, you know what that means. We've got Shannon Becker live in the studio with us to close out the week with his big 3 news stories. And thunderstorm chances continue. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Your side. Johnson Flooring Home, your hometown flooring team.
Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Hello, Elise. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, I'm dry.
Yes.
For now.
For now.
All right. Let's take a look at the big 3 stories. It has to do with some rain. Here's a fire that happened the night before last in Royal Heights. A woman at home alone. They determined the cause of the fire, what happened. The Joplin Fire Department en masse all got there, even when we got there pretty quick.
Yes.
We delayed our broadcast because didn't know how she was injured. She was transported to an area hospital, rescued by firefighters. She's in serious condition, actually.
Oh,
now, there was a fire here last year also. I cannot remember, and I tried to look up what the determination was on that fire, but this fire, due to poorly discarded smoking materials in bed.
Oh,
so,
wow.
One of those things you got to watch out for.
Absolutely.
Obviously, they did have 4 big dogs, and dogs can knock over a candle, can knock over your ashtray and stuff like that.
Their tail,
so.
yes, absolutely.
Oh, yes. So, hopefully she will be able to recover from this. A horrible, horrible story. Our number 2, KOAM News Now. Menards, they opened this last weekend, And this has been their grand opening week. They had a chainsaw carver, this guy, John Gage. He's really cool, really nice guy. He did this until Wednesday. Then yesterday, I don't know if you've been to Menards, have you?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
very familiar
with
Menards.
It's my first time. They have everything. They even have milk.
Yes,
milk at a lumber yard.
It's great.
Pop-Tarts at a lumber yard. They have it all. And now through Saturday, they have the Menards race cars here that we're talking about. They've got a NASCAR truck, and they've also got a NASCAR. I was asking the workers, I was like, tell us all about it. They're like, do we have them here? It's that big of a store. It really is. So if you want to see them this weekend, they're just there during regular hours. You can look at them. Really cool. They're right by the elevators.
Okay, good to know.
And our number one story, speaking of water, this is yesterday. Kafer Road, just near Alba. Totally flooded. Neighbor there on the corner said she's lived there 40 years, never saw it flood like that before.
Oh my goodness.
This is near there on Kafer Road. Kafer Road goes east-west. It actually comes to the radio station, or the TV station here in Kansas. It seemed to be like that demarcation line. Carthage Golf Course.
Oh, look at that.
Looked like a river
what a sight.
running there.
Oh my goodness.
Is that bizarre? This is in Carthage also. They say locals about 5 inches of rain. That's right there in front of the Chamber of Commerce off the square. And then this is Highway 37 near Reeds, just about 4 or 5 miles to the east. I sat there for a while to see if somebody would cross, and here they go.
There they go. Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't recommend it. There's a Ford F-350 four-wheel drive, and it was lifted. So maybe it's a little, exactly. Little cars like me, though, you could even see nothing. So be careful today. Right now, like Lindsay was saying, storms are out there. Little bitty hail was falling here when I got here.
Yes.
So
be safe. Have a plan, because it's an alert day today and throughout the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, throughout the weekend. That's your big 3.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning, Shannon. Stick around. We'll be right back with more birthdays, news, and weather.
Considering a metal roof? Call the area experts. Call or come by.
It's time to celebrate some birthdays today. Starting out with Gabriel Rains, who's turning 2 years old today. It says, "We love you so much, Mommy, Daddy, and Sissy."
Then we have the 11th birthday for Heather Long from Fort Scott, Kansas. Love you, baby girl. Have a great day from your friends and family.
And over in Oswego, a happy birthday to Addison Dunbar, celebrating birthday number 12.
Kennedy Bullard celebrating birthday number 19, freshman at Washburn University in Topeka, studying forensic science. That's awesome.
And happy birthday to Ricky Parkett from Joplin, celebrating birthday number 30. It says, "Happy birthday. Have the best day ever from all your family."
And 45th birthday for April Boone. The message says, "With love from Mom, Dwayne, Chrissy, Dustin, William, and Brett."
And happy 70th birthday for Jim Campbell in Columbus. It says, "Happy birthday to my wonderful husband. Love you so very much."
And Sherry Burke celebrating 76th birthday out in Parsons, Kansas. "We love you, your sisters, Judy, Debbie, and Mary."
And over in Columbus, a happy birthday to Ron Reynolds.
We also have a 23rd anniversary for Natalie and Larry Douglas. That is amazing, out in Arma, Kansas.
Continuing our birthday list with David Martin. Happy birthday, David.
And Derek Wilson. A big happy birthday to you, Derek.
And happy birthday to Brianna Ferguson.
And an 81st birthday for Betty Evans out in Carthage, Missouri.
Celebrating another year wiser is Elizabeth Wydick from Girard.
And 29th birthday, great year for Brittany Robinson from Thayer, Kansas.
And last but not least, Karen Wildish, who's turning 78 today from Fort Scott. It says, "Love from April." What a wonderful birthday list on this Friday morning. Happy birthday to you all, and happy anniversary to that couple as well. Be sure to submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com and to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen. Now here's Lindsay with another look at the forecast.
So we are having a few storms already passing through our area. This is out 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. They got another storm passing through as well. And it could have dropped small hail and fast winds and a lot of rainfall as well. We don't have any warnings for severe thunderstorms except for just clipping our southern counties. They're under a severe thunderstorm warning issued until about 7 a.m. so the next 20 minutes. Now, we've got a few flood warnings as well, especially with all of the rain that we have coming in, the rounds of rain today and this afternoon. Again, Saturday and Sunday. A lot of rainfall, so a lot of flooding risks in our area. Now, this is a system we're tracking out in Pittsburgh. Dropped some hail, about ½ inch to less sized hail. In addition to that, a lot of lightning, loud thunder, so it sounds pretty scary, and pretty heavy rain as well. Fast winds, the system's moving pretty quickly in addition to all of that. So we're watching this hail core right here, and it's moving just south of Pittsburgh, or southeast, excuse me, of Pittsburgh, and there's another hail core moving south of Pittsburgh. So watch out for that if you're in the area south of Pittsburgh. Hail is dropping, so be careful, don't be outside, and make sure you're covering yourself if you do have to go outside. Now, there is a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. That's not issued for our area just south near Tulsa, but we are tracking this system, and it's bowing out, meaning it's going to produce some severe threats. They had a tornado warning with this system, although it has expired. It was radar indicated rotation. Now, rotation has since decreased, but we do still see some threats with that, meaning hail, fast winds, and heavy rain. Now, it's about to catch up to the warm front, meaning it will start to enter an area of less instability. So as it moves into our area, we may not see as strong as the severe threats that they saw, but we will see some as it continues, especially lightning, major lightning risk with that storm. For the rest of the day, we are going to have some severe threats still continuing. Hail, we have a significant threat, especially in this hatch zone. So we're going to get hail definitely with most of these larger storms. And then continuing on, we've got a tornado threat as well, mostly for those northern counties. And the main tornado threat still is for this afternoon as that dry line passes. And we're going to take a look and see when you can expect that to come through. So this is a future track for this morning. We'll see that storm continue to pass through. This is 7:30. So that storm is the one that was in Tulsa, has moved up and starting to pass through Joplin and even up to Nevada. So all of our counties getting some heavy rainfall. There are some hail cores in there as well. So hail is a significant threat as well. Continues on about 9 a.m. starting to diminish, but we have another round of stronger storms moving through. Low end severe, but you can still experience that hail, faster winds up to 60 miles per hour, and some heavy downpours as well. That'll continue on. This is early afternoon, so right after noon, it'll continue to move off to the east. Still a few stronger scattered storms, but as that moves out, we have that dry line developing, and this is about 4:30 in the afternoon. We're not going to experience those widespread thunderstorms that we saw earlier today. We are going to experience just an isolated thunderstorm or two. With these isolated thunderstorms, that severe threat is enhanced. We are going to see hail risks and a tornado or two along with these systems if they do proceed to fire up in the afternoon along that dry line. That's where we're going to see that main threat for severe weather. Now, it'll clear out by later on this evening, and we've got another round of storms moving in tomorrow afternoon as well. So today, tomorrow, and Sunday, there is an alert day. We have the severe threat for this morning, but mainly for this afternoon as that dry line passes. And again, Saturday, overnight hours. So that's a big threat because after nightfall, meaning it's harder to see any type of severe weather and tornado development. So watch out for that. And then again, Sunday afternoon. So we're going to keep an eye on those. Now, coming up when the KOAM morning news switches on over to Fox 14, we will learn about how you can help save American birds. We'll be right back.
Crispy Tender Wraps are here for a limited time in bold flavor.
Salute Cheyenne Navarro, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Heavy rain is leading to flooding in parts of the 4 states. This is a video of Northeast Star Valley Road in Cherokee County, Kansas. With all the rain, it's important to remember the old saying, while driving, turn around and don't drown. A 5th suspect has been arrested in the killings of 2 Kansas women found buried in rural Oklahoma earlier this month. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation said 31-year-old Paul Grice was arrested and taken to jail. He faces 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and a count of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. And the push to reform time served for prison sentences in Oklahoma seems to have stalled. The Oklahoma bill would add accessory to murder to the list of crimes mandating offenders to serve longer portions of their sentencing. Ronnie Busick was arrested in 2018 and pleaded guilty to accessory to the murders of Danny and Kathy Freeman. He served only 2.5 years of his 10-year prison sentence. The bill was passed by the Oklahoma House and the Senate Judiciary Committee, but is now stalled. Yesterday was the last day for the bill to be heard on the Senate floor. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Now, we do have a few more warnings issued for our area. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for a couple of our southern counties. We're going to keep an eye on that as that storm continues to progress. We've got another storm out in Pittsburgh, just passed over Pittsburgh and is continuing on. Dropped some hail, very small hail, but still hail can be damaging, and it's going to continue on, so we're going to track that. We've got hail core-ish just east of Pittsburgh, although it's starting to look like it's diminishing a little bit. Now there's another little patch of heavier rain and hail moving through North Pittsburgh, maybe south of Parsons. We're going to keep an eye on that as well. Now, main threat I'm seeing is this system just south of us. It's bowing out, so that gives us some severe weather threats, as well as they have a tornado or a thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm warning. They're watching some rotation in this, but haven't issued any type of tornado watch or warning yet. So we'll keep an eye on that as that continues to progress into our area. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning for those southern counties, so keep an eye on that when you're getting up and at them, starting your day. You might want to watch out for any type of severe weather threat. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.